think the biggest supporter is, first of all, the belief in yourself that the film that you have written, without compromising your vision, you will be able to make it one day. And of course, you do have your breakdowns, you do have your meltdown moments. During that, I think your family really sort of supports you. And so my children, my husband, my mother they have been my biggest cheerleaders, especially my mother and my husband. So I think that's the time when you need that sort of little support. And then of course everybody moves on in life, and then it's your faith in yourself and the faith in the film that you've you've sought out to make. So yeah, that was more or less to do with my dreams and something that I wanted for myself. I really hope it takes less time for my next film. It doesn't take 7 years. I hope it comes sooner. I'm going to be working towards that. But Tahira has always worked. So even though the film took 7 years, but she has been working only. And so my kids are used to having a working mother, but home and family matters to me a lot more. So I'm going to try to strike a balance where I'm able to nurture my dreams and nurture a home as well. This film is about these 5 women, and it's about the wonderful life or the struggles that they have in the most palatable, funny, comical way, even when they're in their 30s or even when they're 13. So it just need not be from 20 to 28. That's the age group you usually see on screen. But women do exist beyond that and before that. And I was very sure of that. So there are bits and pieces of me in all the 5 tracks, all of them. But I would not say it's biographical. It's not an autobiography, because a lot of these tracks go into a lot of fictitious zone. Like Divya's track is different, it goes into a different zone. Siamese track has a red flag boyfriend. Jyoti's track has a green flag. So there are a lot of red, greens and all the colors of all that you can find. So there are few things that are there in all these tracks which are very close to my heart and my life, either from a place of experience or observation. But then there is a storyteller telling these stories. So there's a lot of fiction also. Anybody who's seen my short films, whether it's Toffee, Pinny or Quarantine Crush, I think women all have important roles in them. They have much to say, but they're never talking to the audience as if they're giving a lecture or a sermon. I think it's basically how they deal with the situation thrown at them and their take on it. My way of dealing with it is this way, that I'll make a situation where the characters are dealing with it. That itself will say a lot more rather than them addressing the audience. I think it's very important to address inclusivity, and I really wanted this to come, and I wanted it to come in a most natural way. That, you know, one girl is saying that my period's not coming, such a big issue, and she's like, are you crazy? You think that's a bigger issue than me coming out of the closet? And she says, yeah. And I deliberately wanted them to say it because, yeah, this is not an issue at all. And so that was my take on it, that this is what I want to introduce, or if at all I want to include something, it's from the space of making it as normal as it gets, because it is as normal as it gets. I want to explore so many genres, or romance out and out. But one thing that I'm going to make sure is all the women in all my stories will have a solid grounding and something to say. They're not going to be merely a prop. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to work with the men. I want to work with men and women, but everybody will have a say in it. I think I've been very fortunate about the cast, and I think I was very clear that I want a very credible, authentic cast. And these are the first names, you know, that came to my mind, and these were I gave Divya a narration over Zoom call. And this is during the pandemic, and she loved the script, and she's like, I'm doing this. And then I gave the narration to Sakshi, and I stepped out of home, and that's when she told Tanuj and another associate producer at that time, Shruti, that I'm going to do the script. So the best part for me for this film was, whether it's the producers, whether it's these, I got yeses from all of them from the first ever narration. The journey started after that, how to make it commercially viable, that was, and I understand the commerce, I understand, but I'm just so glad that the collaborators came on board and they believed in the vision that was set for the film. Also, I will not say that this is an artsy sort of film, and whatever it is, I respect those films, and it's not even a commercial film. You have seen the film. It's a film which is, it's a marriage between the two. There is comedy happening, but at the same time, there is no lecturing happening. I was just telling someone that मैंने इतने lecture सुन लिए अपनी ज़िंदगी में और इतने lecture दे दिए, because I was also a professor, that I didn't want any lecture bazi in my film at all. I just wanted all these characters to play their part and for us to understand whatever we can from their interaction with each other without any one of them giving a long monologue. In fact, Divya has done so many films and so many years of work, and she just announced, like she just put a post that this was her 30th year in the film industry with Sharmajee Ki Beti, and that's the amount of work she's put in. But every time she used to come on the set, it looked as if she's coming for the first time. Like she's a new actor and I am some seasoned director, because she, reposed so much of faith in me. She had so much of faith. If given a chance, an opportunity to do many, many films, I want to have the same passion and zest each time I come to the set like you have. So she would just look into my eyes and try to understand what I am trying to say, and the next take would be just a perfect take. And with Sakshi, there was just no hand-holding required. She just understood. I think my narration with all the actors went in such a way that they could understand where I want my characters to operate from. None of the actors or the characters operate from a level of negativity. Even though there are obstacles happening, they are dealing with it with a very mature emotion. Divya, who is Kiran, who is supposed to come from a small city, is the most progressive character given the obstacles she has faced and the situations she has faced, either from her daughter or from her husband. These are the most mature, evolved reactions, which just not seek happiness for yourself but for the other person as well. So I was very sure that this is how the characters have to speak and think, and these two were just so good that I didn't have to do much. So the first biggest setback was the personal setback when I was discovered with breast cancer, and during the treatment they thought, okay, the project is coming off, and I told the producers, please do not take this film from me. I will be there, promise you, Monday I will be there all the working hours. I will not let my work compromised, and I did that. So from Monday to Friday I used to go for my pre-production. Saturday was my day dedicated weekly to a chemotherapy. Sunday I used to take those injections because the WBCs would drop after chemotherapy. So Sunday was the field shots I used to take, and Monday I was back at work. But very honestly, it was the work that gave me the strength. And जिस दिन काम नहीं होता था, उस दिन दर्दें याद आती थी. Oh, I am feeling these pains and aches. But the days that I was working towards this film were the most joyous days for me. I think I was very fortunate जब मैंने script लिखी थी in 2017, and that was the time the first producers that I took it to was Ellipsis and Tanuj and Atul. And Tanuj has been a sweetheart. He has been, actually, when you say support in terms of the film, then Tanuj was also a very big part of not giving up on this project. So if I found solace at home at the professional front, it was Tanuj who sort of believed in the movie through and through, and all these 7 years. And so these were the first people that I went to, and they had greenlit the project. So you were very happy, acha theek hai, green light ho gaya, now we're going to make the film. But then the bigger picture is also having a financier on board and a studio on board, and that's where the struggle had actually started, and that's where a lot of opinions and suggestions started coming. Why don't you tweak the script in a way that you have scope for an A-lister actor or an actress to come in? Why don't you have a romantic track also of a man and a girl, and so that then you can juxtapose all these other tracks and they become the side characters. And finally, I think we found the correct collaborators. They kept joining the wagon. First it started with ellipses, then we had Applause coming on board, and then Amazon coming on board, and mostly all were men who believed in the project. So I'm just so glad to have found such lovely collaborators, but it took me 7 years to find all these collaborators. And then of course, when you have subsequent studios coming on board or subsequent financiers who are coming on board, they do have the suggestions. So in the entire journey, I've got these suggestions that you can have a guest appearance by a certain someone or a track by for a certain person. But then it's your own personal trick. What do you actually want to do? How do you want to make your film? So these were the temptations that were thrown at me, and but I did not see the film like that. I did not succumb to those temptations. I believed in the vision that was there. I'm just so grateful to the universe to have given me an opportunity to make a screenplay, a movie out of a draft that I truly believed in the most.